here we are. This is what the applicants are going to see when they go ahead to apply for a license. The first step, and for today, we're just going to focus on registering as an individual. The workflow is going to be pretty much the same for registering as an organization. There'll be a few minor differences. Some of the questions will be a little different, but the functionality is going to work the same. So just in essence of time, we're just going to focus on showing you how to apply for an individual license. So if I were an individual ready to apply for my license and I needed to register, I would click the register for individual button. And then this is just going to walk you through your basic contact information to update the information so you can have an account. Couple key differences with registering as an organization versus individual. The individual would enter their social security number. The organization would have the option to either enter their FEIN number or a social. And then also for the organizations, they would have an additional step to indicate the ownership percentage. So let's say that there was just, I'm the one owner of the organization, I would be 100%, or maybe we have co-ownership at 50% each, and we'd have the option to go ahead and enter that information in. Couple of things, and I'm just going to go over these briefly because it's going to be consistent not only on the registration page, but also as you go through the process applying for a license. Anytime you see a little red asterisk, you can see it's on first, last name, gender, ethnicity, etc. Those just indicate that it's a required field. So if for some reason I was trying to complete my registration without entering the information, you can see it's very clean and very clear on which fields I forgot to enter. So this way, if there is an issue where I just forgot to enter something in, I would be able to very clearly see all the fields that I missed. Again, for the essence of time, I am not going to register right now. I already have a user that I've registered. So I'm just going to go back to the home page. And I'll go ahead and enter in my information so we can see what that looks like. So I'm just going to enter in my username and password. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And now here we are. So I'm a registered user. I've registered as an individual. And now this is the kind of the first landing page that I see. So I'm going to take a minute or two and just kind of go over high level of what we're looking at. So along the top, this blue banner here, we call that a navigation bar. And really, the user is going to have whichever way they want to access some of these tiles that you see on the home page. So in my first license and application piece, there's a little drop-down caret. If I click that, essentially what it's giving me the option to either navigate using the navigation bar, but you can see that my licenses, renew my license, apply for a license, all of these things are the same functionality as these tiles. So it gives the user a pretty nice experience depending on how they want to access each one of the tiles. So we're going to focus on apply for a license, which is this first tile here. But again, I'll just briefly go over the options that they'll have to interact with this page. So obviously, we'll go back to apply for a license because that's what we're going to demo for you today. The user will have an opportunity to check the application status. I'll show you what that looks like after we've went through and completed an application. That's this middle tile here on the top. And then on the top right, you have my approved licenses. Right? So that's going to allow the user to go in, look at what's been approved, if they want to download their certificate, etc. And then the bottom three tiles going left from right, we have our predetermination. Right? So if I'm an applicant and I want to go to DSPS and see if I'm eligible, maybe I qualify for a smaller fee, I can go ahead and do that. If I need to renew my license, I can do that right here on this tile. And then the last one is for a conviction. So possibly part of the application process, let's say I was applying for multiple licenses, I forgot to indicate that I had a conviction. Once the license is reviewed, I'll have the opportunity to report that conviction and pay my $8 fee. So I'm going to scroll back up to the top left, and I'm going to go ahead and click my apply for a license. So our first option, again, like I mentioned before, the red asterisk, I know that that's going to be a required field, right? So no need to go through that again. For our purposes today, I'm going to choose business because that's the type of license or the category that we're selecting. And then again, I'm going to click on my license type. And for our demo purposes today, we are going to do a real estate broker. Once I've entered in that, I'm going to go ahead and click next. Okay. And then you have a few options here based on the type of license that they're applying for. Today, we're going to focus on our license by exam, but you will have a few other options, license by reciprocity. So, you know, if I have a state that I have a license in that qualifies for multiple states, I can apply that way. License by endorsement. So if I had a recommendation by an organization, if I have a renewal after my 5 years, so I missed that 5-year and 1-day deadline, I can apply for my renewal here. And then my military. So if I were an active member or a member of the U.S. Armed Forces, I can go ahead and do that type of license. Again, like I said, we're going to go ahead and just focus on our license by exam today. So I'm going to click the select. You can see a nice big green banner comes up to let me know that I've selected the license that I'm applying for. Right? So it kind of indicates that same name here. And then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and I'm going to click next. So now what we're going to see here is essentially this is just going to walk me through each step that I need to complete, the questions that I need to answer to go ahead and apply for that license. You'll notice on the left-hand side, there's kind of like this indication of what these sections of my application are going to look like. So the whole entire time throughout the process of me applying, I can see exactly what step I'm on and how much longer I have until I complete my application. So again, the instructions is where we're going to start. And you'll notice that on the top, it gives me that same indication, right? So it's very clear, very clean. I know exactly where I am and what I'm doing. So our first page just kind of gives a brief overview of the instructions. And then again, just like we saw on the last page, I hit next to proceed. So I'll go ahead and hit next. Like I said, now you can see that we have completed the instructions. I get a clean checkbox. And then the current page that I'm on is going to be this blue circle that's open. And then I know that these grayed out ones are still the ones that I have to complete. So I'm going to go ahead and you could see here that some of these fields are grayed out. Basically, the system understands that I've already registered, so I'm the person that's logged in. So anytime we can kind of expedite or make it a little easier for the applicant, we went ahead and done that. So there's no need for me to put that duplicate information in because I've already went in and the system understands that my information's already in. But we will have some fields to continue. So very briefly, the first section is your name, your personal details, the communication method. When I registered, I only put my email address in. So if I want to go ahead and enter a phone number in here, I can do that. My home address, maybe I needed to make an edit from my home address. In this case, we'll just go ahead and keep all of my information as I registered. And then our last question here, have you ever been licensed in Wisconsin as a real estate broker? If I say yes, okay, this is a really cool part of the functionality, and this is consistent on each one of the pages. It's dynamic questions, right? So what that means is the system understands based on how I'm answering these questions, if there's additional information that I need to provide. So have you ever been licensed in Wisconsin as a real estate broker? If I answer yes, the system is going to drop this new question to provide my credential number. However, if I answer no, no problem. I can just go right in. So the system is very intuitive. It's going to be a very clean user experience. And that's going to be consistent on every one of these pages. if I answer a certain way, I may have an additional question that I need to answer. Okay. Then our last question here, occupations during the last 2 years. You would just go ahead and fill out the information based on what your occupations were in the last 2 years. I'll just, for demo purposes, I'll just throw something in there. We'll say insurance agent, and then I'll go ahead and save and next. Now we're going to get into our veteran fee waiver request. Okay, a couple cool features of this page here. The first part here is just some information. Are you a veteran? If yes, please view the DSPS website, and I have a link right to it. This will be consistent as well if there are certain forms or documents that I need to fill out. A lot of the questions where that is relevant, I'll have the same hyperlink with a link right to that document, so I can download it right from my screen and then upload those supporting documents later on in my application process. So now we're just going to go through these questions again. If you're qualifying for a waiver in any regard, again, if I say yes, right, I'll have that dynamic ability. And if I say no, the system will let me just go through because it understands that I don't have any other questions that I would need to fill out. Qualifying or requesting equivalency for your military training experience. Again, I'm just gonna, for the essence of our demo, kind of go ahead and kind of answer no to a lot of these, just so we don't have to fill out additional information just for our demo. Qualifying as a service member or a spouse or reciprocal credential, right? Again, and then if they're requesting a reduced credential fee, go ahead and say yes for that one, just to switch it up a little bit. And have I filed my income taxes with Wisconsin in the last 2 years? Again, if I say no here, I will get a notification that kind of stops me and say, hey, make sure that, in order to proceed with your request for your credential fee, that you're going to go ahead and answer the question, are you requesting a reducible credential fee to no? Okay. So I'll say yes, right? Just because that's how I answered the credential fee question. Okay, but it's very intuitive and it gives the user a very clean experience. So if they did answer a certain way and something's going to be dependent later on, that there's not going to be any issues for them moving forward. I'll go ahead and hit next again. Okay, and now we have our association page. Okay, so here's where you're going to kind of relate yourself to the association details that would be applicable. So you have the option as sole proprietor or a broker business entity. I'll go ahead and just select sole proprietor for this. I'll go ahead and put my associated firm. If I have my license number, I'll go ahead and put that in. Okay, and now we're just going to fill out our business address of the firm. For our drop down here, I have the ability to just type a letter. So in this case, I typed W, so I can get to Wisconsin quicker. Go ahead and enter in my telephone number. And then now you're going to certify that the firm listed above is associated and assuming the responsibility for our disciplinary action. You're going to print the name of the broker signing below. The pretend user I created was Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully we have some Packer fans on the call. And then you're just going to go ahead and continue on through the rest of the questions. You have your signature of the sole proprietor. You wish to register a trade name as like a DBA, you can do that there. And then again, you have the name of the broker signing below. And then your business entity license number. So you'll go ahead and just fill all the rest of that information out. Again, very easy, very straightforward, very user friendly. We'll go ahead and hit next. and we are in a QA environment, so kind of like a testing environment. So they won't experience this kind of a load time. It looks like maybe just because I'm in the testing environment. It's taking a second for me to get to this next screen. There we go. Right. And again, now we're on our declarations. Now I can see that I'm, almost done here. So that's great. And again, very, very guided pathway. So it's very, very easy for the user to go ahead and go through this. Okay, so now we're just going to answer our declarations. Have I ever surrendered, resigned, or canceled? I'll go ahead and say no. Do I have any licensing or other credentialing agencies that have taken disciplinary action against me? Again, if I say yes, right, we're always going to see that dynamic ability. For our purposes, I'll just go ahead and continue kind of doing no, just for the essence. I think you guys kind of get the look and the feel how all these pages interact. Is there any disciplinary action pending against you in any jurisdiction? Have you ever been convicted of a misdemeanor or a felony? Are you incarcerated, on probation? Have you registered or licensed in any profession? And then have you ever been credentialed any other names? So I'll just go ahead and select no, but like I said, you'll have that dynamic ability. The system will understand if we need to get some additional information based on you answering yes. Now here's the page where you're going to go and be able to put in that supporting documentation. Okay, so cool thing about this page is I know that I had mentioned that the red asterisks are kind of required and the system won't let you move forward. That is true on every page except this page. Okay, we thought through this process and the decision was made to allow the applicant to not have to upload every single document here. And the reason being is if I'm an applicant, I may not have some of these documents with me right now. I might not be on my computer where I have it saved or whatever the case is. So we do allow the applicant to move forward from this page, even if they did not upload any of these documents or all the documents that they would need, but they do have the ability to come back in and upload the documents at a later date. When they come back in to do that, they won't be able to make any changes to the rest of the information that they've already completed, but they will have the ability to open up the supporting documents page and go ahead and enter that in. So I'll just show you how that looks. We'll just kind of take a look at the first document request here. All they need to do is click on this little upload button. It'll give them some rules or some criteria that the file has to be, and they'll just go ahead and click this upload files button. When they do that, they'll be able to see their documents that they've saved. I kind of pre-saved one earlier on. Go ahead and open it. It'll upload. Give me 1 second. Try that again. There we go. Little glitch in the old system. Again, training, testing environment there. I'll know that my document has uploaded because my done button will get dark blue. Okay. And I do have the ability to upload multiple documents here. So if there's a use case where I do have to upload more than one document, I would just go ahead and repeat that process. And you'll see all of them listed. Once I've completed that, I'll hit close. And you can see here that the document that I downloaded, that's just how I saved it, right? And then now we have a little trash can here, right? So in the event that I made a mistake, I downloaded the wrong document here, I can click my trash can. I will get a confirmation to just make sure that I'm sure I want to delete it. And if I confirm that, you can see that now I have no documents listed here. So cool feature, very interactive. Gives the user the ability to go back later on and add any additional documents, especially if, let's say, the review process starts and maybe I did download the wrong document. And I'll show you this after we kind of complete the rest of this application. once the reviewer has a chance to take a look at it, there's a due diligence section. So maybe I wouldn't know that I uploaded the wrong one until the review happened, but I'll be able to kind of make that change right on the website once I've got that information from the reviewer. So now we have our attestation. Okay. We're just going to declare under penalty of law that I'm either a citizen or a qualified alien. And then we'll go ahead and put our signature in. The date is automatically updated with that grayed out field, right? So there's consistency to make sure that there's no issues that I just entered the date incorrectly. And I'll go ahead and hit next again. And now you can see here, this is where I have my fee schedule. So I see that my initial fee was $60 and that's what my total is. So now the last step for me to complete my application would be to go ahead and pay and submit. Okay. There is a previous button. You can see it whited out here. If for some reason at any point in the process, I wanted to go back, maybe I said, oh, geez, I forgot I do have that supporting document. Right? You can hit the previous button and it'll just take you one step back, one step back, one step back, so you can find which page you needed to go back to. The information that you entered will always be there, right? So this way we're not making the user re-enter the information if they just needed to go to a previous screen, which is a nice feature. But for demo purposes here, I'll just continue to go to next and we'll go back to that payment screen. So now I'm going to hit pay and submit. And now I'm basically taken to a third-party payment site for USA Bank. Again, this is just our pretend one, but consistency, just like we saw before, all of my pre-filled information has basically been grabbed from the system. Right? I have the ability to make a change if I need to, but everything is pre-selected based on the information that I've entered prior to during my application. I will need to select my state. Go ahead and put Wisconsin in again. Okay. You have your phone number and your email. And then I'm just going to select my payment method. Okay. They're always going to select credit or debit card. Okay. And you can see, again, that dynamic ability. Once I've done that, I can see my card number here. So I will go ahead and enter in my card number. I'll put my expiration date and my expiration year. I'll put in my security code. And then I will go ahead and continue. So now you have your one last screen that you're going to review just to make sure everything is accurate. Okay, you do have the ability to go back if you notice that you made an error. For our purposes, I'll go ahead and confirm. And now we have our confirmation number here. I do have the ability to print this page. So if I did want to print it for my records, I could do so. Copy down my confirmation number. Once I have that, I can go ahead and continue. So that confirmation number is for your payment, giving you the proof that the payment was confirmed. And then now I have my actual confirmation number. My payment and application has been successfully submitted. Again, we use green. Green usually means good. So I'm very clear that my payment has been submitted and my application has been successfully submitted. Again, I can copy down my confirmation number here so I have it. And now I have completed my application for my individual application. I'm going to go ahead and click that home screen on the top left again. Okay. So now I've applied for my license. For our demo purposes, we're still, just kind of waiting for the review to happen. But let's say I want to check my license status, right? I've submitted it. What's going on with it? In my middle tile here, or again, up on the top, right? However you want to access it, it'll take you to the same place. I'll just use the tiles. I'm going to go ahead and check my application status. Okay. And now I can see kind of real time what's going on with the application, right? I did my license exam, I have my application number, it's my real estate broker, that's the type that we selected. And right now, like I said, it's still in review, so I'm not going to have too many options on this, but I just wanted to let you see kind of what that looks like. There's also 3 dots here under the action column. Okay, so I can go in, I can view my application, I can view my conviction fee, right, in case I need to submit that $8 payment, or what I was talking about during the intake process, I can view my due diligence. All right, so if you remember, when I was talking about the upload document, if something came back where the reviewer was looking at something and they said, you know what, you were missing something or something's pending, this is where the applicant is going to be able to see kind of what's going on with their specific application. They'll have a status under here. Again, there's nothing here now because we just completed a brand new application. And then there'll also be very clear notes based on the review team to say exactly what is missing or what needs to be added or updated, et cetera. So it's very, very clear and clean for me as the applicant to go in, do my application, and understand exactly where I am within that part of the process. I am going to log out from this user really quick because I do want to show you one other thing. I just want to show you that when the application's approved, that they'll have the ability to go ahead and take a look at their actual certificate and download it if they wanted to. So I'm just going to log into one of our testing accounts because I know that there's some completed applications that have been approved already. So again, now I'm just in as a different user. Okay. And now I'm going to go into my approved license. So let's pretend that I went in, I did my application, it was reviewed, and now I can go to my approved license title or tile rather. And now I can see all of the applications, their status. You can see that all 4 of these are active. You can see when they've been issued, when they're set to expire. Okay. And the action button is going to be where they click on and they can see a few different options, right? Their wall certificate fee, their conviction fee, their association fee. But a really cool feature here is being able to view their certificate. So they just click on view certificate. They're going to hit download. And then they can see their certificate. And obviously, if they wanted to download it or print it, they have the options up on the top right-hand corner. So that is what we wanted to show you. I hope that you are excited and really see how user-friendly and clean it is.